Ogden, who returns to action next weekend at UFC Fight Night San Antonio. Trey, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm very happy to be talking with you. You're a week out, man. How are you feeling?
I feel good. I feel ready.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Before we get to your fight, I wanted to go back to your win over Daniel Zellhuber, man. I talked with you actually the night of your fight, but now that it's been 6 months, you've had some time to reflect on it. How do you feel about that performance?
Good. I feel really good about it. That was one of my better performances. I think Daniel's a very very high level opponent, very sophisticated striker, and it gave me a chance to show that I'm also a sophisticated striker as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of hype going into the fight about him, man, and you kind of stopped the hype train, man. How did that feel?
Obviously, it felt good. Just like I said in the moment, winning always feels good. I feel like I'm still underrated. I feel like I've been underrated. I don't think I'm really seen yet, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But I noticed I was a 4-1 underdog against El Uber. I'm a 2-1 underdog against Manuel. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, you're an underdog against these Mexican fighters, man. What the fuck's up?
But I'm happy to take them all out. Let's go.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. I wanted to ask, so you own your own gym, correct?
Yes, sir. Marathon Mixed Martial Arts in Overland Park, Kansas.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I wanted to ask, who were some of your main training partners this time around?
Yeah, so this was a short one. We found out about 3 weeks ago, but I have my whole team around me. I've got an amazing team of fighters that I've built and that are we're in the Midwest the fastest up and coming fight team around. But I have Mike Breeden in my gym now. I have Miles Johns in my gym now. Stephen Graham is one of my pros and one of our assistant coaches. He's been helping me a lot for this fight. I've been training with Alejandro Gomez, one of my undefeated fighters. Zach Scroggin, I call him Zachary. Uh, that's his Jedi name, Zachary. Zachary Scroggin. He's an undefeated amateur, undefeated pro. And just the rest of my fighters. I don't like naming names because I know on the moment I'll forget some of them, but I have about 25, 30 fighters out there now. And the whole team has really come together around me really well. And I feel really supported by them and really grateful for them to help me out.
Awesome, man. How does it feel having some of the, glory fighters come over to your gym, kind of trust you with the process?
Good, I know some of them, and like some of them, like Miles Johns, I didn't know as well. But as soon as he came over, he fit right in with my guys and with the culture of the gym, and he really seems to like it there as well. So I'm happy to have all of them that can come in and help us train and help us build the team.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Um, well, let's talk about it, dude. You're fighting Manuel Torres. On paper, it's a very, very fun fight. What do you think of the matchup?
Good. I like the matchup. I think that he is mostly relies on his athleticism. He's kind of an athletic, instinctual fighter, and I'm a very technical, very organized fighter. Um, Generally, I do really well with the athletes. So he relies on athleticism. That'll be there nice for him for the first few minutes, and then he'll start to slow down. And the technique that I bring does not slow down. So I like the matchup quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's a little bit different obviously it's a little bit different of a matchup from Zellhuber to Torres, right? Because Zellhuber, I think, what would you say is more like a more well-rounded striker, maybe a little bit more technical, where Torres is just kind of a brute force. He's coming to knock you out.
Yeah, and Zaluber's coming to knock you out too, But Zaluber had a much more sophisticated array of weapons, flying knees, crazy kicks, elbows, like nasty elbows, very long. Zaluber's 4 inches taller than Manuel. Um, Zaluber's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Manuel just got his purple belt. Um, I think the Zaluber was a taller task. I mean, 4 inches taller. Yeah. But no, I think that Zaluber's a better fighter than Manuel Torres. Uber's 12-0. He's on a 12-fight minimum win streak. Um, it's a little different, if you watch that fight, Zaluber being 4 inches taller than Manuel, but I'm 5'11", Zaluber's like 6'2", has like one of the longest reaches in the division. And like I said, after the fight, you counter a good reach with good feet, good feints. And I feel like I was the longer fighter against Zaluber. He had a hard time finding me, and I did not have a hard time finding him. So I think Manuel is gonna have a surprise on his hands when he figures out just how hard I am to hit, and he's not super sophisticated. He doesn't. I don't want to give up too much, but I'm not overly impressed with Manuel. All he brings is power, which to me is just athleticism. We all hit hard at this level, um, so I feel pretty good about it.
Awesome. Well, at the end of the day, March 25th in San Antonio, how do you get your hand raised?
Yeah, I just need to do what I do. If you watch my fights back with like JJ Okonovich, some of my, TJ Brown, some of my LFA and Victory FC fights, if you go back and watch those and just watch me do what I do, if I just be me and do what I do, I think that I should run through this guy pretty easy. And obviously, I'm always coming to do the same thing. It's no secret. I'm going to show him that I'm a better striker than him. Then I'm going to show him I'm a better wrestler than him. And then I'm going to show him how lethal my jujitsu is.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, there was this like there was this narrative around you of your past two fights that like you're this kind of point fighter or whatever, but like I feel like a lot of fans don't go back and look at your past fights because leading up into those fights, you finished everybody, So it's like,
Yeah, I feel like I have a whole career outside of the UFC, and Victory Elephant. Like I fought some tough regional fights, some really good guys. And I feel like people just it was just so I've been just doing this for so long that it was just so long ago that the current group of people that are making the odds and that are assessing me, they just don't know who I am. And that's okay. Because my opponents don't realize either. And but yeah, I break people's faces and choke them to sleep, and that's what I do, and I'm damn good at it. So if you look at Manuel, who has he fought? Like his regional career was in Mexico against whoever, like whatever. Like this is where he's not battle tested. I'm battle tested, man. I'm think that I'm gonna be levels above him, just like I was saying with like JJ Okonovich. But like JJ Okonovich, he's fought tougher competition than Manuel Torres. He comes from a really good California wrestling background. He comes from AKA a top flight gym. He was a top prospect, and I ran through him like he didn't know how to fight. And I suspect that that's exactly what the Manuel Torres fight's going to look like. But
uh,
it's a fight, and you never know.
I did want to ask, you're finally fighting in front of a sold out UFC crowd. You excited about that?
I'm I don't want to say I'm not excited about it. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a scientist. I'm a martial arts scientist. So um, it doesn't matter to me if we fight in a cage, if we fight in a gym, if we fight in a backyard, if we fight in front of nobody, if we fight in front of the whole world, if we fight in front of Dana White to compete for a contract. I don't care. Like all I care about is the patterns of fighting in the presence of moment with the opponent. That when you get in there with somebody and you lock in with that human being and you're present with them and you're sensing their intentions and their awareness and you're reading their patterns and I pattern people live on the fly. So it's like if you watch my fights, typically the longer the fight goes, the worse it gets for my opponents because I read you, I pattern you, and I make adjustments on the fly. I mean, unless the sold out crowd can get in the cage, then it doesn't matter, right? It's just the same thing to me. I did see that I'm earlier uh in the card, and so the only thing that a sold out crowd really changes to me as a tactical, technical, and pattern based fighter is can I hear my coaches? And I see that I'm like the second fight on the card, so my suspicion is that it'll be quiet in there, and that I'll be able to hear my coaches, which is nice for me. But if I can't hear my coaches, he can't hear his coaches, and it's all good.
Gotcha, man. Awesome. And then finally for me, man, what do you want your 2023 to look like, and what are some goals that you're setting for yourself?
Yeah, so my vision for 2023 is to fight 2 to 3 times. I'd really like to fight 3 times and finish 3 opponents. But the overall vision for me for 2023 is to fight and win simultaneously to coaching and winning in the UFC at the same time. I do believe that will happen. And then in 2024, I think that my first wave of guys that started with me are going to break into the UFC. So my vision right now is to be a coach fighter in the UFC simultaneously. Very few people pull it off, and I'm sitting on loaded bases, and we intend to do so.
Awesome. Awesome. Trey, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors, and if you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so marathon underscore MMA is where you find me on Instagram. That is the platform I engage in the most. Marathon MMA underscore Academy is where you can follow my gym and all of my guys. Shout out to our team, Marathon MMA. We're coming. It's only a matter of time. I think it's short time before everybody knows who we are. And then as always, I have the Native Hemp Company sponsoring me, and because social media won't let me post it, they keep taking my shit down. Check them out for the Samurai Ghost gummies. These are the premium marijuana THC Delta 9 gummies sold in Missouri. They are sold legally, but Instagram won't let me post it. They keep taking it down. But you can get these on their website. They do ship free to all 50 states. Use Ogden MMA for a discount. These are the hardest hitting gummies you can buy on the market, man. Check them out.